welcome back to the hashtag IBMi Everywhere show. Kevin, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here.
Yes, thank you for the invitation.
Hearing about what's going on in Latam and where you guys are based out with GBM, maybe you can share a little bit about GBM and how that all started and what it's like.
Yes, it's very interesting. Here in Central America, Caribbean, we don't have IBM. Last about 20 years or a little more. We have GBM. GBM is the representative company for IBM. So we have to support, implement, and sell all the machines. IBM Power, IBM's Titan Series, C Series, Maxi Mainframe, and all the solutions for that. Me in GBM, I started in GBM Juan in 2021 because I offered support the internal team, and he has problem with your computer. He's IBMi, and there's he invited me to form it in the IBMi Academy. In the beginning, they understand that very important in the product bank of the finance. It was I put my energy to learn about it.
Wow, that's so interesting. And so Juan, how long have you been involved with IBMi for?
In my case, I worked with IBMi since 2007, when I was in the university, when I was 19 years old. I love years of that. So I start with AX, Stores, and IBMi, the three platforms in parallel. Then that was in Peru. Then I have the opportunity to come to Panama and work with GBM. We try to research this problem, the generational can change, which we are a lot of people with 50 years, 60 years, and how we solve that. We expect the academy, the career major. In that academy, we meet a lot of people, of students. Only we have another generation in that academy. We call that IBMi Academy in the GBM University. In Central America, the universities doesn't have any student for IBMi. But we
That
have
is super interesting. That is so interesting. So you guys have your own academy to teach the next generation of IBMi folks?
That's correct. And growing with the concept of DVD, it was a problem. We grow in other platform with the random methodology, with the bootcamp, we offer it. The group of engineers growing so much in the support to DB2 last year, part of the project of IBM Academy. That's correct. IBMi was the first academy, but now in GBM we have AJAX, Mainframe, Linux, REST, a lot of academies from our people. We need to do that for our people.
That is spectacular. So maybe you could share with me, how did you develop this academy? It doesn't just hop out of nowhere. You have to develop it. How did it begin?
Okay, that began with one person that is not here, and other people that was Amado Rios. They told me about that problem that we have, and I tried to scale some meetings with some books that we have, the red books. So we took the books and made a presentation for the beginners, for the academy. Then I have this machine that is not turning on. So you have to open it and learn about it. We have to make that people know the machine, know the operating system from the beginning. We practice, very, very practice. That was the main objective. That was.
Yeah. So Kevin, did you go it's not like you went to the academy as well. Was Juan involved in your in teaching you, or how are you guys working together in general?
Okay, when I was in academy early, I also started to worry about. Was learning. I was also help to my parents, and I tried to release a joy to other people to join that group. Right? And after finish academy, I thought with Juan, and they come to call me tutoring academy um, to form the new generation because I want to take chance, continue motivate people to interesting in give IBMi because it's not select technology because it's a platform with a great potential, and then I consider that I can to need other the opportunity that Juan give me in the moments. Share the knowledge. It's very important and very careful and very love. Always share that knowledge with all people. You don't have to give back. And to learn, I consider that teaching is a very strategy to continue because when I prepare the study class, I need to read and investigate to prepare the course to the student. And I feel this role allow me to prepare and growing in the platform because I continue investigate to prepare the class.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys can share a little bit why there's such a focus on IBMi at GBM, and maybe you can share why you guys are so focused on IBMi as well.
We have IBMi with DB2. The DB2 are the main for all our customers. You have the data and the operating system working together. That's wonderful. You don't need a DBA, you don't need operating system, you don't need any roles. With one or two roles, you can administrate and operate all the platform. That was the first, the kind of on the platform. I feel that IBM gets the upper boss because when I know IBM, I understand work with the DB2 and I like so much that I study it. And I like it so much that how operational system integrate with the DB2 offer a high volume data to back of finance and is the best database for the business with high transaction. Then I don't consider that this is the most important unit for me.
Yeah, that is a typical response. I mean, most people love the fact that DB2 is able to manage that heavy load of transactions. And going back to the academy, I'm curious to hear, maybe one you can answer this question. Can you point to a reason why the academy has been so impactful to GBM and the countries around?
Okay, the most important change that we have with the academy was the next generation change. Because, like I said a few moments ago, my engineers was 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. Right now, we have engineers that they are 20 years, 22 years for being exact, and they are kids. But that kid can make you an assessment. That kid can make an implementation of power with stores, and that's what's wonderful. Not just for GPM, for the customers too, because we have all the new people working and supporting the platform and giving a new life for the customers. Love that.
That's great. Another question for you is that as this is a segue from what you mentioned, is that you're talking about the next generation, and where do you see the future of the platform?
For me, the platform is very, very interesting. We have a lot of years from now. If you see the new version 7.6, we have a support roadmap for about 2040, maybe. And we tweak operating system more. So I think that IBMi is going to be here when we are like, that's my opinion.
And Kevin, for you, where do you see the future of IBMi?
Well, the future, I consider the future to be great. The new business are that cost growing. So because they need a base, a stronger, sufficient responsibility to high transaction. And I consider the future is use DB2, DB2 that is the best database in the market.
Wow.
Yeah, that's very important. IBM, the second database from the world, that was DB2 for I. That's amazing. And maybe IBM doesn't even sell that very well, but we have to evangelize that. That's just important.
Wow. Being that GBM deals a lot of customers, just a one single company, do you have any good stories to share?
I have a customer that is a big one. They have a department for the DB administrators. And I asked the manager about how many people they have for IBMi, for DB2, for I. And they told me, DB2, no, I don't have anyone. I only have the administrators, the operator. But with Oracle and Microsoft SQL Server, I have a lot. I have 10 people for that database.
That's crazy. I mean, they had 10 people on the other systems and they didn't have anyone on the IBMi. They even know it existed.
Yeah. And the core systems of him is IBMi. The main core is on IBMi. They don't have any one for that. That's crazy.
How long was that going on for?
So
how long, like how many years did they have like no one on the IBMi?
I'm sure maybe 1 or 2 years.
And they needed 10 people for the other one. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
They just put the machine and forget about that.
Wow. And when we talk a little bit about the future, and I think that I like to talk about this, and this is, I think, a unique thing about GBM, is what you've done is in America, I'm going to share with you a lot of times, and is that we struggle with this, and as you're mentioning as well, that there's challenges with the next generation. People don't know about the platform there, and they're aging out. And what you guys have done with your academy is unique in the fact that you guys are investing your own people and being able to empower the next generation. But yeah, how do you suggest for people to learn more about the platform?
Okay. I love to read. I love that. So I suggest that you have to read maybe the red books that we share in the IBM.com / red books from Fernando Bedoya or Mike or Steve. That they are the gurus about IBMi. We have a new blog from Amado Rios that is on Spanish too, because in all America we can find some blogs, very interesting blogs about TV2, but in English. In Spanish, we are the new blog from my coworker about Rios. If you talk Spanish or speak Spanish, they can enter in that site. Yes, bro, IBMi, Amado Rios, and go.
Very interesting. And Kevin, for you, it didn't sound like you started off in IBMi. You learned other things. Have you been able to take those skills that you learned in the university and been able to come to GBM and apply them to the IBMi world?
Yeah, I consider that the IBMi is oriented to learn and apply the knowledge that the academy is the topic more I apply because the YouTube is fully SQL. When I learn in the university, I don't exist. No mention the teacher, no mention you what is a guide, what is a power.
Programming in the
Yeah,
university.
the teacher in the university say IBMi was a platform and now it's obsolete. Well, you growing in your mind thinking about this obsolete, I cannot touch the screen, green screen. And when you know that your mind change because say, oh, this is not obsolete and this is the future and now. And you change your mind and you can to change the other people mind with the understanding that a plus person. The word is going to the university and speaks to you to the student about the platform because bring up to the platform.
Switching gears here, it's talking about the IBMi community. And one of my favorite things about being in the IBMi world is that there's a really, very strong community. Like the fact that we're able to have this conversation is part of the reason why it's such a wonderful place to be in. And in a Latam world, maybe you can share a little bit about the IBMi community in your neck of the woods.
Okay, here in GBM, in Central America, we have a common thank you for the events in the past, but we have only one event from every year in every country. In that event, we talk about the new things that we have in the operating system, storage, Unix, and meet with all of our customers. Since the customer is very small that we have, from the big one that is a bank in offset in Central America, and everyone talks about their experience, about the problems that we have in the platform, or maybe the operating system, or maybe without details from the security. So can we spend less money for do that for the
That's the best part. And the best thing is being able to be in person. You get to learn from others. And how many people come to these events?
For the event, we have 4 speakers from GBM. Kevin is one of them. And the customer was 20, 30. In some countries, we have 50 people in one room talking about it. And that's wonderful. You can view some people from the 20s, from his 20s, and other people from the 60s. And that growth of experience is very important and very interesting.
Yeah, I love that. And you have any other things you want to share about the platform or anything you'd like to share with the community?
Learning about IBMi is the biggest and the grateful operating system. And maybe for the customers that they want to make an IBM champion is very interesting and very crazy for us. For example, Kevin and I and George are IBM champions, and we love the process. So we love stay with the customer. We love listen the customer and help the customers to resolve the problems. It's very important for IBMi and the community to have a new IBM champions.
I appreciate that. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining the show today, and looking forward to continuing the conversation. And if you want to be a guest on the show, feel free to reach out to me. You know where to find me.